Hello and welcome to the Rangers Training Centre. My name's Andy Newport. I'm joined by my colleague Scott McDermott. We've just been in to speak to Danny Rohl. Scott, what was the gist of what the Rangers manager had to say?
Well, I think the big news is obviously Andreas Skov Olsen. That's what everybody's talking about. It's what the fans are all talking about. And Danny Rohl pretty much confirmed that he's on the way. We believe he's in Glasgow. We believe he's having a medical today. I don't think it'll be confirmed today, but certainly in the next 24-48 hours, you'd imagine that signing will go through, and it feels like a real statement signing for the club. And for Danny Rohl, you could almost, I don't know if you agree, you could almost sense a bit of excitement in his voice about getting a guy this quality and this calibre in. He basically said he thinks he could be a difference maker. Well, I think the reason Rangers are getting Skov Olsen from Wolfsburg is obviously because he's had a difficult time in Germany. It hasn't really worked out for him in the Bundesliga, but Danny Rohl is pretty confident in his own ability in terms of getting the best out of players. I think he's proved that already with so many players here who were written off at the start of the season. And listening to him today, he feels like if he can get Skov Olsen in the building, he can get him back to his best, which is an exciting prospect for the Rangers fans.
It kind of feels like this is the missing piece of the jigsaw for Rangers, for Danny Rohl. They've been successful. They've managed to get back on it a winning run. They're scoring goal with set pieces really more than anything else. But he spoke about wanting to have that left-footed right winger, somebody who can come inside and get shots away. And we saw with Bruges, certainly a couple of years ago, I think it was 26 goals he scored in one season when he's during his time in Belgium. So does it feel like this is the guy that really is what Rangers need to take them up to that next level?
It does. It should take them up a level in an attacking sense. And you only need to look at the other night at Pittodrie. Rangers were comfortable in that game in terms of their performance, but at 1-0 the game was still on a knife edge, and they had several chances to put the game to bed, but just couldn't do it. Couldn't get the second goal until they get the penalty late on. And I think you're right, he'll feel in the attacking third like Skov Olsen will be a real game changer for them in terms of his end product and the quality that he can bring. So if he gets it over the line, which I'm sure they will now, it'll be a real in terms of the title race, and they spoke about that as well, 3 teams going for this title now, the second part of the season. It'll feel as if that's a massive signing for Rangers.
I mean, that's obviously Skov Olsen's going to come in. That'll make it 3 signings for the window so far. They've obviously already had Chochi Chukwueze has come in, 2 Romans checked in yesterday. But I mean, there's still a couple of gaps in the squad that maybe need not so much filled but certainly strengthened. And I mean, what did he say about that, and how excited do you think the Rangers fans should be by what he had to say in that front?
Well, they should be. I mean, the first thing I'd say is something they didn't touch on today was I think the club will need to get some players out as well. I think that's going to be key, that there are players here who are surplus to requirements, and we know that they're actively looking to try and get some of these guys out. But in terms of incomings, I mean, Danny Rohl was pretty clear today. Their business isn't done. He said there's a few areas, a few positions where they still need to strengthen. He was very clear actually on the fact that they need another midfielder, which if Connor Barron hadn't picked up his injury, with Chukwueze coming in, that would have probably been the midfield okay. Also expect like Joe Rothwell and people like that to go out, maybe Lyle Cameron going out as well, potentially on loan. But with Barron's injury, he clearly feels he needs another kind of first pick midfielder in there, so they're definitely in the market for one of those to add to Chukwueze. In terms of other positions, well, they've solved obviously the left back issue with Romans coming in. Skov Olsen, as we've discussed, gives them a whole different dimension in the final third. I reckon they still need I'd like to see them get cover at centre back again, with Cornelius being injured. Nasser Giga hasn't really covered himself in glory since he's been here on loan for Wolves. So I think centre back will be an area they're looking at, and the obvious one's a striker. They've already got obviously 3 strikers with Shermiti, Majowski and Danilo. Danilo's another one that they could look to try and move on in this window, but they still need a goal scorer. I think Shermiti's improved obviously the last few weeks, but I think they still need a. They're no easy to find, but they still need a prolific goal scorer up front. Do you agree?
I definitely think that's the big area we're lacking in terms of, I think Shermiti's come on leaps and bounds in terms of his hold-up play.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's providing the kind of value you'd be expecting for an £8 million striker in front of goal, I think that's still to be settled. I think he has had a big chance for Todger. I think you would be expecting somebody of that value to be taken, but obviously his 2 goals at Parkhead have done wonders to win over the punters. Danny Rohl was talking about the title race and just how close he thinks it's going to be. Obviously last night's results kind of show you that it's going to be nip and tuck all the way to the season. Obviously Hearts getting another result with 10 men. I'm hoping to sit Burn, Celtic edging out Falkirk away from home as well. It does kind of feel like Rangers, I realise there's an opportunity here for them, but they have to tool up and they have to, obviously Danny will talk about there's a chance you could go out the final day of the season and you're finishing everywhere from between first and third.
Yeah.
It's going to be so tight.
100%, you're right. I think Danny Rohl and the club see an opportunity there to go and win the title that wasn't there a few months ago, and that's exactly why they're doing what they're doing in this transfer window. And the thing is, people might say, when you look at this season and what's happened the last few months, you can maybe look at it and go, well, all the top teams have kind of dropped points, so maybe Celtic will drop a few, Hearts might drop a few eventually. But as you see, those results last night prove that you can't take that chance. Hearts last couple of games with 10 men, they've managed to dig out results. Celtic knowing their best form and will surely sign a couple of players to strengthen. Yeah, they're back to winning games again under Martin O'Neill. So Danny Rohl and Rangers can't take that gamble. They need to make sure they're as strong as possible for this title run, and that's what I think he's trying to do with these signings.
Just finally, obviously, the title race will take a back seat for the next week. It's a big game for Annan, obviously, as they come to Ibrox looking to create another upset. But again, that's a big game for Rangers, isn't it? It's a chance to rest some players, crucially, a chance to get some other guys some minutes. But with it being so tight at the top of the table, the Scottish Cup has got to become a priority as well, because if you do end up missing out, this could be the last shot at silverware.
I agree. You look at the next couple of games, Annan in the Cup and then Ludogorets obviously in Europe before the next league game. The league game obviously been a priority a week Sunday against Dundee, but I think Danny Rohl probably more inclined to rest players in Europe than he would be for this Cup game. I might be wrong with that, but Europe's obviously clearly a dead rubber now, whereas for this Cup game, they want to keep the momentum going, keep that kind of feel-good factor. One or two of the new players might be playing, which should be good for the crowd. And as you say, that Queen's Park result will still be fresh in the memory. Some of these players, including Liam Kelly, so it's important that they erase that and put that right. They need to be professional about it. I've no doubt they'll win the game, and he will make a few changes, but I don't think it'll be wholesale. I think he'll want to get the job done. I think he'll want to keep the confidence going, keep the momentum going, get a couple of goals, and as I say, might change it up again in midweek for Europe with one eye on the Dundee game on Sunday.
Thanks for joining us. You can catch up with all from today's press conference at Record Sport Online.